Hello, everybody. This is Alia Jamal, the love coach, coming here live for another love circle. And today we are talking about something that is so close and dear to our heart, and that is self-trust, foundation of self-trust. Now, if you will ask yourself, do you trust yourself? Most likely the answer would be yes. But when I am going to share this session with you, most likely you would know in a more honest way where your trust is with yourself. So we are going to do what we do every time. We are going to take out the judgment. I'm going to just put it to a side. There is no judgment in this space. This is a very honest space where we get very curious and we get to learn all about ourselves. What is going on within ourselves, and take the steps, baby steps, to create lasting change. So we all get to live our full potential, our purpose, and we get to create a beautiful, happy, healthy life. And we all can have it all. We don't have to choose one or the other. So let's dig in. So let's start with, what is trust? And another question that comes to mind, does trust come first or love come first? Trust comes first. We never fall in love with a person we don't trust. When you meet somebody, there is an element of trust built right away before even you start feeling attracted or affection or anything. So we are going to turn that concept towards ourselves. If I claim I love myself, then, my trust with myself is not really solid. No, my love for myself is not really solid either. But I will only know it if I become very, very honest. So what is trust? Trust is being your own rock. And it's also self-support, where you can support yourself emotionally. You can support yourself physically. You can support yourself financially, where you will show up for yourself no matter what. And the reason we want to build trust, when we build unshakable trust within ourselves, then we are not afraid of someone leaving us. We are not afraid of losing a job. We are not afraid of our loved ones dying. Of course, it all hurts. It's all part of human experience. But if we don't build this trust, then we are obsessive about it. We are worried about it all the time, because then our support system is outside of us. All of our support system is outside of us. Yes, some of our support system can be outside of us, but a big element has to be within me, where I can support myself on all different levels. When that switch happens, then I don't have to control the circumstances or situations outside of me. Then other people don't have to behave certain way for me to feel better. Then they can be whoever they want to be. I can be whoever I want to be, because there is that foundation of unshakable trust. So that's why it's very important to create that trust within ourselves. Now, you might be familiar with, trust between you and another individual. When somebody breaks your trust, when it's hard for us to build that trust back again, especially if you have been through a breakup, or if somebody cheated on you, whether it was in an intimate relationship, whether it was in a business partnership, and they just betrayed you, it kind of feels like our trust is broken. And now it is so hard for us to trust other people. It's not that, the trust is broken. This is what has happened. The unconscious dialogue that goes in our mind is something like this. I chose this person and this person betrayed me. That means I don't trust my choice of choosing people anymore. So the truth is, I don't trust myself. So now I don't trust other people. So if anywhere in your life you feel like you have a hard time trusting, you don't trust people easily, the trust between you and you is shaken. It's not solid. There's a crack within it, maybe a hairline crack that you cannot see. So these are all the ways you can deeper within your psychology, and you can see, oh, what is going on and how you can shift it. Definitely a big chunk of trust comes from our childhood trauma. Trust is built within the first 12 months of our life. So how you got treated within the first 12 months of your life depends how easy it will be for you to trust yourself and trust other people in your adult life. Now, I have talked to people, one of the wonderful person I was talking to shared with me, we were working on trust, and shared with me that their parents applied the cried out method. So whenever the baby was crying, they never come to pick up the baby. And that has created a lot of self-trust issues within that baby. So that's why we shouldn't just, jump on any new research that is out there. When it comes to parenting, we can easily just follow our inner instinct. When a baby cries, just pick up the baby, soothe the baby, put them back. Just a little side note, but imagine if maybe your mom was sick. Right after you were born, maybe your mom needed special care. So you did not get that touch from your mother. So right there is the trust gap between you and you. Because in that moment, we don't have logical mind. We don't have verbal, communication. All we can read is energy pattern and behavior. That is what a baby is really good at. So if I am crying and no one is coming, and especially the person that I want is not coming, that means there's something wrong with me. That means I am not good enough. That means I am not worthy of love. So what's happening? A separation between you and you. The real you and the you that is being conditioned based on your situation and circumstances. So when you and you are separated and not together, there is a gap in the trust. So no matter what background you come from, there's always room to build more trust. And when you build that trust, it's just going to up-level your life in how you feel and what you're able to achieve. That's why trust is so important. It gives us inner freedom. It makes us free to do whatever we want to do. And it's not very hard to build either. It's not something very impossible to nurture. The hard part is recognizing that is something that is required within you. Recognizing being honest is the hardest part. So I'm going to ask all of us to just keep our mind open, and I am in it with all of you. I'm not any better. This is something I am doing every single day. So we all are going to keep our mind open and not that little voice talk to us that, hey, no, you're okay. No, you have already built that. How about we start with a clean slate? Because I'll be sharing with you 21 different ways that you might not be trusting yourself. So these are the symptoms that I'll be sharing with you that are going to be so important for you to pay attention to and not get triggered. Or if you do get triggered, just remember, no judgment here. We all are work in progress. Okay, so I'm just going to share those with you, and then we'll get into how to build it. So I am reading from this book. This is one of my most favorite books called Trust. It's by Iyanla Vanzant. If this is something that, if the 21 signs that I'm going to read, if you feel like, oh my God, okay, that is what's needed, I would highly suggest you get this book. Because this is one of those books that is going to be on your nightstand maybe for next 20 decades if this is the work you're interested in. It's definitely on my desk all the time. I read small parts of it. I have gone through it twice with my coach, but this is a book, every time you read it, you want to just reread it again because it is so deep. Because trust is really deep too. Everything in our life is based on trust. We trusted our mom and dad to take care of us. And if any way they didn't, then that is the trust we need to build within ourselves. We trusted maybe our partner, our friends to take care of us. If they betrayed us, Now it's on to us to rebuild that trust. So let's dig in. So the first one is I have a hard time recognizing, understanding, or believing in my innate value and worth. So if you have worthiness issues, it's tied to trust. Just what I talked about, the first 12 months of a child's life, that is when the trust is built. And that is where the worthiness issues start as well. I accept the negative, self-rejecting messages that I received in childhood. Again, that is where your trust got broken. If somebody was telling you you're not good enough, what's wrong with you, look at your teeth, look at your hair, or even when you were a very tiny baby and you could not comprehend whatever was said to you has damaged the trust that is between you and you. I think that I could have done something to stop or change the childhood abuse, neglect, or abandonment that I experienced. So it's that guilt that we carry. I could have done something different, again, tied to trust. I do things to prove myself and my value to others. We all have been there, done that. I try to control everything around me so I can feel safe. So this is when we say like, oh, my desk needs to be clean. Oh, I'm an OCD person. This is what's going on within us. We just don't trust ourselves. That's why we need to control everything around us. I compare the choices I have made to those made by others. So the comparison that goes on within us. I minimize or deny my own needs. So this is when you say, oh no, I'm okay. I don't need that. No, I don't need this either. I'm okay. I'll just live in one pair of shoes. I don't need 5. It's sometimes difficult to recognize or tell the truth. I'm unable to find or value my own voice. I'm unable or unwilling to recognize or challenge my self-sabotaging or self-destructive thoughts, beliefs, and behavior patterns. So this is when we stay in denial. No, I think I'm okay. No, I don't need to change anything. Or we think we are so developed. I have had conversations with people who feel like they are so developed already, they don't need to do any more work. I don't think so anyone here fall in that category. Otherwise, you won't even be here. When we get to that, when we behave that way, deep down, we don't trust ourselves to do the work. That's why we run away from it. And we read one book or we watch one video and we feel like, okay, all the work is done. So recognizing that, that's why being honest is fundamental to rebuild that trust. Getting very, very honest with yourself. Am I really there yet? Or I still have some more mileage to go? And, my personal experience, I started building trust in 2020 with my current coach right now, actively. That's when this part started. Because before that, if you would have asked me, I would say, oh, I trust myself. That's what I would have told you. But when I started doing this work and I started becoming honest with myself, it was very uncomfortable. It was so uncomfortable. I wanted to just run away and just not face it. And, just to give you a background story, I had been in self-development for 5 years already. When I say self-development, studying, learning every single day. And it felt too much to do. But once I did this work, once I started on this road, I am still on it. And I'll always be on it because there's always another level of trust to be built based on where I want my life to go. Once I got on it, the level of inner freedom that I have experienced, I have never experienced it before. Never, ever. And I have worked with multiple modalities, this, that, but building this foundation of trust, because you have to work through the guilt, the shame, the worthiness issue, the denial, self-denial, self-abuse. You have to work through all of that to get to build that solid foundation of trust. Okay, the number 11 is I'm prone to catastrophizing I am filled with the constant expectation of failure, disappointment, or betrayal. So the worst case scenario, when we go into that, we don't trust ourselves. I mentally relive or rehash past trauma or adverse event. So that is when we are so obsessed with, this is what happened. It's not conscious, it's unconscious. Your mind would just keep going back there. That is a lack of trust within you. I engage in negative and harmful self-talk, and my negative ego takes control. I participate in self-sabotaging or compulsive repetitive behaviors that create shame, guilt, or self-punishment. I break the promise that I have made to myself. I fail to keep the commitments and or agreements that I have made with others. So this is when we have hard time showing up somewhere on time. Even that, when we struggle with time. I find it difficult to finish what I started. I'm still there. I'm still building that one. A good chunk of them I have done, or they are more in progress than this one. I hold in anger, resentment, or ill will towards, or I speak negatively about those who I feel have hurted or harmed me. So that is resentment. When we feel like, oh, if I forgave that person, that's not fair. That is lack of trust within myself. It has nothing to do with another person. When I trust myself, I can forgive other people with so much more ease. I deny or minimize my power of choice. I defer to others, allowing them to make choices and decisions for myself. Now, I'm the youngest in 6, and for most of my life, decisions were made for me. I didn't make any decision. So when I made the biggest decision of my life, it took me 5 years to make that decision. And even after I made that decision, I was shaking. I was shaking within me because I didn't even have the foundation to make a decision for myself, because always somebody else did it for me. And that is lack of trust. I rely heavily on my physical senses to make decisions, and I'm often disconnected from my instincts, intuition, and inner guidance. So when we ignore our intuition, when we ignore this inner voice, or maybe we have ignored it for so many decades, that is also lack of self-trust. So these are all the symptoms that you might have. And I'm just going to summarize all of them. They all have to do with your worthiness issue, shame and guilt, forgiveness, and lack of soul connection. Because you, the real you that came in this world and the conditioned you, they got created, so there is a separation between you and your soul. So when you do this work where you're putting one step in front of the other, and you're building trust within yourself that, hey, it doesn't matter, even the whole world is on fire, I got myself. I will show up for myself, even if I am the only person who's doing that and everyone else is against me. I can do that. And what I think matter. Maybe no one else agree with it. It matter. It's coming from me, through me. It's important. When we get to that level, that is unshakable self-trust. And depending on what part of your life you're developing right now, what aspect of your life you're developing right now, it might need more work. I know what I'm developing, it needs more work, even though I have done massive, wonderful things based on this foundational trust. So now let's get into how do we build that connection. We understand that in our childhood, we got disconnected. We understand all the trauma that has been sitting there, carries on all these symptoms within us. How do we fix it? It's very easy. We start showing up for ourselves in 2 ways. One would be sit down with yourself every day and recognize, realize that there is a power moving through you. And that power has no name, no gender, no shape or form, and it has no personality like yours. And if you're just like, okay, Alia, I just can't comprehend that concept, I want you to put your finger on your pulse and just feel your pulse. If you're more of a kinesthetic person, you need physical stuff, just feel your pulse. Pay attention to it. That is the power. It's moving through you. That's life itself. It's moving through you. It's right here. It's right here to connect with you, support you, to provide you with all the opportunities, anything that you need. When you will start bringing this awareness consciously every single day, multiple times in a day, it's almost like activating a memory within you. Hey, there was a time we used to be together. Right now, I feel so distracted by all that I have to do, all the demands of modern life, because we are not living in a forest, a self-sustained lifestyle. We are living in civilization. We have stuff to do, bills to pay, people to take care of. But just putting your hand over here, connect with that power that is within you. Really be with it. And if you would just close your eyes and just focus on your pulse, it takes you somewhere. It grounds you. Your nervous system your whole energy would just, settle down. It's a very easy way to calm yourself as well. And also remember, there is a power within you. And that is the power that will always be here, even if no one is here. That is when you're realizing you can be your own rock. You can speak up. You can demand from life, from people, from God. You can do any of that, and it will be given to you. So this is where you're connecting with the power. The second piece is more psychological behavior and physical. And that is when you say you will do something, you would actually do it. Now that is something sounds so simple. It's one of the hardest thing I have ever done. And I am still building that muscle. I would say maybe it's 65% built, but there's still a lot more to go. When you will say that I'll be finished with this task by tomorrow evening, and it's not because, maybe you got sick, maybe somebody else showed up, maybe this happened. All legitimate excuses. You broke your trust with yourself when you broke your words, because that other part of you is like, see, she didn't show up for me. So there's no trust. So what I'm going to suggest, pick something very, very small that you do know you will do every single day, no matter what. Even if the whole world is on fire, you will make sure you'll do it. Every time you do that act, register in your mind, I am doing this because I trust myself. So what we are doing, we are reprogramming, we are changing your behavior. So when you change your behavior, new neural connections are formed. It's very physical. And also your behavior for not keeping your word with yourself. So sometime we say like, okay, I'll finish it by end of the week. And then it gets pushed to next week and the next week. And then we're just like, oh my God, I just procrastinate. When you procrastinate, you don't trust yourself. So you could procrastinate all you want. Just pick one task. We are going to take baby steps to do it. So my one task that brings a lot of certainty in my life is, as soon as I wake up, I go weigh myself. I know it's like sounds weird. It sounds like, crazy. As soon as I wake up, I weigh myself. My weight machine is there. I do it every single day. I can tell you every single morning what my weight is. That is how I'm telling myself, okay, this is how I'm building trust within myself. But another thing that it's doing, there are 6 human needs, and one of them is certainty. Way back in the day, certainty was so important for me. That's why I did not want to make any decision that would uproot or disturb my certainty. So that time I told myself that, this is going to be my certainty. Every day I can weigh myself. I am sure of that. And it really served me. So I already had that built. So when I started doing this work, it was like, when I weigh myself, that is when I'm trusting myself. I do it every single day. Only when I'm on vacation, I can do that. So I need to come up with something that I can do even on vacation. But it just requires something very small. When you will do it every single day, slowly you're like, I'm showing up for myself. Something start to shift right here, because what's happening, your heart is opening too. When we've been carrying all this trauma that we talked about, it closes our heart energy. And as you're shifting who you are being for yourself, it starts to open a little bit. So you start feeling very different over here. And you will feel even stronger and stronger as you would do. And then pretty soon you'll see you'll be finishing big, massive stuff. So back in the day, let's say if I told somebody, hey, I'll send it to you by evening, and a headache came on, I'll be like, you know what, Alia, be kind to yourself. Tomorrow is another day. They are not going to be worried about it. It's okay. You can do it tomorrow. But now, my current version, I'll sit here 9 p.m. with a headache. I understand they won't mind it, but I told myself it's the promise is with me. I gave the word. And I have seen, there are days I have finished tasks at 11:30 p.m., but I have noticed my trust within myself keep increasing. I am more confident in my ability to achieve or create what I desire than ever before. Of course, there's always room for kindness and compassion, taking care of yourself, but you can also pay attention, okay, if this is going to take me only 10 minutes, and maybe I can put on some music, maybe I can light a candle, I can create the environment so it will be done, and I will trust myself more after that it is done. So we can wrap it around that. So 2 ways we talked about you're going to build this foundational trust. One is realizing the power that is within you. It's always going to be here. Your pulse is not going anywhere. When your pulse would be gone, you'll be gone too. It's always going to be here. That is the power that lives within you. That is the power you can depend at any time. And then coming up with something very, very small. So, think about it. It could be even brushing your teeth before bedtime, brushing your teeth every day in the morning, maybe looking in the mirror every morning and telling yourself, I love you. Maybe that is the task you will do that would build the trust within yourself. If you do this for 30 days, you will see the difference in yourself, how you show up and how much you trust yourself, and how slowly all these 21 things that we talked about, they will start to ease up. When I started, I had pretty much all 21 of them. Right now, I believe there's 2 or 3 that are still there, but they are much more less in their intensity because I've been actively working on it. And I know that there's so much more to be done. But how we get it started, being honest with ourselves, actually doing the work, and keep doing it every single day. So that is all for today. If this is something that you want to go deeper within and you want to heal through all the things I mentioned, reach out to me. We can have a conversation about it. You can just Google Alia the Love Coach and you can find me. You can reach me on Facebook, on Instagram, or just send me an email if you're on my email list. And I am so honored to take you on this journey, because the more you trust yourself, the more you'll be able to access that unlimited power within you to create whatever you're going to create in your life. So that is all for today. Sending you all love. Bye.